Hey guys, this is Marco from the DAISIES and
Aldrich from the DAISIES.
And you're watching MULATSCHAG TV.
It's the only TV you need.
That's it.
Thank you so much.
Wonderful.
Can we do it again, please?
Oh yeah, sure.
I'm only kidding.
MULATSCHAG!
Doug, do you still eat ramen noodles once in a while?
Yep. You know, I never forget about those times when I was a kid. I still, actually, I have in my suitcase, I found some somewhere, we were in Europe somewhere, and I found some, and I thought, I might want this in the middle of the night one night, because every room has got a kettle of hot water, so. I do still eat them. I love them. Actually, the ones I love now are the more expensive ones, so.
They're not 50 cents, they're 89.
They used to be, actually, they were like, I think they were 10 cents or 30 cents. But it was something really cheap, like $1, you could get 3. I think they were 30 cents.
It was when everything exploded, early 80s in LA. I mean, it was, how was the time for you then?
Well, I was just a kid, man. I was so happy to be, I mean, I loved my family, but I wanted to be out on my own. And I had a little flat down by the beach that was pretty cheap, and we just had my guitar and a bed. I acquired a bed. I don't even know where it came from, but that's all I had. That's all I needed. And I was in LA by myself, going to the rock clubs and learning. And I immediately put together a band with some guys and started playing gigs, trying to learn how to write songs, trying to learn how to play like Michael Schenker and Jimmy Page and Ritchie Blackmore and all these guys.
Yeah, and of course the clubs. I mean, there were so many bands starting out back then. I mean, early 80s was Motley Crue, then Guns N' Roses formed, even Metallica formed back then in LA.
And that was, I mean, early was the first band like that I saw was Motley Crue. They had already played a couple of shows that summer, right before I got there. They played at the Starwood Club, and the Starwood closed. By the time I got there in August of '81, it was closed. Or I didn't know about it until by the time I found out about it, it was gone. But the Troubadour is where I saw Motley Crue play, and that was really cool. But even prior to that, they'd walk around the streets together as a band, all dressed up, handing out flyers. That's what people did. Bands would hand out flyers for their gig. And my first gigs there was at a place called Guitarist, which was
oh yeah, I remember.
Remember?
Yeah.
Bill Gazzari, he was like the godfather of rock and roll. Hey, we got
it together.
No, he goes, we got the foxiest guys and the best women. Come on out, you know.
He started with the pay-to-play thing, right? You had to
Buy tickets. Yeah.
Fortunately, I never got involved in that. I never had to do it, but it started later. But like Guns N' Roses came later. That was like 86, 85, 86. There was a bunch of bands that came. Quiet Riot came out with Carlos on guitar, and Rat came out.
How did you survive?
It was, well, I mean, I was 18, but I was really, in my mind, more like a 15 or 12-year-old. It didn't take me long for my phone to get cut off because I didn't know how to pay a bill. So I was just basically, I started working in a music store after about a month. And then later, after playing gigs a lot around town, I got some people asked me for guitar lessons, and then I moved to a store, and that's how I survived before making, you know, the transition to recording and stuff. But one important time was in the very beginning, as Kiss was looking for a guitar player, and they asked me to audition, and that really kicked my ass. I was like, okay, I got something going on here. I don't know what it is, but I need to learn more about music, because Gene said to me, you know, do you ever use major notes? And I was like, what is that?
Right.
So he goes, do, re, mi, you know, whatever, however his voice is. I can't do Gene.
You guys did play of course, with American musicians, but you did a lot with British musicians. Is there any difference? Is there something you could say, wow, that's so typical black country, whatever?
You're talking about both of us?
Yeah.
Wow. A musician is a musician, talent is talent, but yeah, culturally speaking, of course, you know, when people grow up in the UK, they have a certain attitude about them. One thing I learned about them, they're very ambitious and very focused, where American musicians, we tend to be a little more relaxed, you know, but they go and get things done, and I appreciate that. Yeah, I've ended up with a lot of English folks, a lot of English artists, but at the end of the day, we're all human beings, and we're all looking for the same thing: the best song and the best performance, and you know, and work at your skills, you know. So, but working with David was amazing. He's so meticulous, very meticulous, and very together. Here, he has the vision of what his band should look like and what it should act like, and all that. And he doesn't have any, you know, any qualms letting you know. So you learn that. You know, perception is a big part of the delivery, you know. So I walked away from that, from the Whitesnake experience, learning that, you know. And then I got to work with, you know, the John Sykes. I mean, their work ethics are amazing, man. They just get up in the morning and just boom, 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 until they accomplish what they need to get done. And we're like in California, so, let's take lunch, man. Let's go to the beach. Let's go to get on the surfboard. Or, you know, in those days when I was that young, you know, get on the skateboard, you know, or whatever, just a little more relaxed. But work ethic is the difference, I would say. Yeah, yeah.
For me, I love the British and the European musicians. That's where I grew up, my favorites. You know, I mean, of course I love Hendrix, and there's a lot of guys, but I love Jimmy Page and Jeff Beck, these English guys, you know, Pete Townsend, Eric Clapton, and then Ritchie Blackmore, and then you got Michael Schenker and Gary Moore, Irishman, all these guys, Tony Iommi. Yeah. Those are all my heroes. They're all no one's from the U.S. Then I found out about Aerosmith. I like them. Yeah. But Jimmy Page, you know, so I always have an affinity for European and British musicians. I mean,
you worked a lot with David Coverdale, pretty close.
Yeah. Well, I worked very hard to bring him, and it was a chess match too with David, with me, because, you know, he wanted me in the band, but I told him that I didn't want to just play his old songs. I wanted to create new music. And one time I filled in for Craig Goldie on a tour with Ronnie, and Ronnie said, "Man, I want you back in the band." And somehow I got on Blabbermouth that I was coming back to Dio, and David rang, "Douglas, what's going on?" I said, "Well, look, DC, he wants me back. I'm with you, man. I'm with you. But we got to do some new music. We got to write together and see if we can move this thing forward." So I worked really hard on bringing him a lot of music over the years to inspire him, and he'd give me some things, and I'd work equally hard on his ideas to make them sound like, you know, what I thought they should. I worked hard at it. So that's why I just have to stand up for myself when somebody, no offense to you, but when somebody says, "Oh yeah, David Coverdale just told you what to play." No, not a fucking chance, dude. I work my ass off to keep Whitesnake alive. That's how I see it. Yeah. So the difference is that only me and David did it together. With the Daisies, we do it all together. Yeah. As a band, the old-fashioned way, the way it should be. Yeah. But you got to have everybody that wants to do that, you know, not just collect a paycheck. So we work really hard together.
We're all hungry, very hungry, you know.
Forevermore.
Did you have to take German lessons before you got married?
No, I'm still trying to learn. She won't. She talks to our daughter in German, and I'm trying to pick it up that way, because at least she talks to. She uses English with me, and it's difficult. I would need to be in Germany or Austria or somewhere where.
That's a great place.
Yeah.
You move here for a year or two.
Yeah, you never know. We may do.
How often do you see your two sisters?
Not very often. I wish I could see them more. Same with my parents. They're all on the East Coast in Philadelphia. And
but you were born in North Carolina, right?
Yeah, I was born in North Carolina. But yeah, you know, as you get older and you got your own family to deal with, and then you got your secondary family, it's hard to get back home sometimes.
One of your sisters is a plastic surgeon. Is she sometimes talking to you like, "Come on, dog, I could do a little here, a little there"?
Yeah, she's not she's an assistant to this plastic surgeon, but I asked her a couple of times about, like, you know, how does it work, and, you know, how does that work, and she touched my head here and kind of did it like that, and she's like, "Nah, you should just leave it alone. Don't do the face stuff, you know." But I did, speaking of that stuff, I did go get a laser treatment on my face before I came on tour, and it hurt like hell, and I don't see any freaking results. So, and it was expensive, so I think I'm done with that. So I had scars for about a week, and then I healed up, and I looked the same age that I did before. So it's like, forget it.
Is that ever a subject within the band? You know, talking about getting older, you know, eating the right thing, or, you know, taking this and that cream.
It's always a topic, you know. One thing that I dig about this band is it's been, yeah, we're very much aware, you know. Every time Doug and I work together in the band, and we've done a few things, a few years, we constantly talk about it, because I mean, let's be real. I mean, sexual appeal is part of what we do. So I've gone out, after so many years, I've had a lot of friends in the business that I kind of didn't see for 10 years or so, and then I go back and see them, and with all due respect, it's like, wow, something's not gelling right, you know? So people listen with their eyes. It's a fact. The sex appeal thing is part of what we do. As I get older, I try to be conscious of that and try to eat, you know, and also for health reasons. We've had a lot of friends that kind of bailed out because they didn't take care of themselves. So if you take care of your body will take care of yourself, you know, in so many ways. So yeah, we talk about it. You know, it's not something we obsess over, but we're aware of it, you know. We try to do
our best, but as you do get, I mean, Marco and I always joke about it, because 15 years ago, or 10 years ago,
take our shirts off, man.
No, but when we were in Whitesnake, David really, you know, he was
focused.
He wanted us, everyone. He's like, we're doing a video in 1 month or 2 months. Me and Marco, we were at the treadmill every day. We were smoking, drinking Red Bulls, you know, doing snuff, anything that would burn body fat. We were doing it. And we got to that video, and we were in good shape, man.
Yeah.
And then you get off the road, you get home, and it's like, it doesn't take long, you know. But we try.
We try.
What do you think? What do you think of the Daisies?
Well, I think if somebody would think of a band that would be the first to play on Moonbase or something, you know, be the first rock band to do this or that crazy stuff,
Did you say moon?
People would call the Dead Daisies.
Yeah.
But would you?
I would, definitely.
Okay.
See, if somebody asked me, "Hey, come on, Harold, we have this project in space, you know, having the first rock band playing there. Who would you call?"
What do you think, man?
I'd say the Daisies.
That's
Really?
awesome.
That's cool.
Because it's all in one, you know. You guys are great musicians. You have the experience of, you know, decades of rock music, you know, and you still love what you do, which is the most important.
Yeah, it's it's an honor to be able to support our families playing music that we like, and working with friends. You know, that's the thing about the Daisies, is we actually do get on really well together. We hang out together, and we have a good time.
I guess that you get, you know, calls every day from other rock musicians that would say, "Hey, could you need a second guitarist here and there," you know, or another bass player in the Daisies?
Tons of people, when the Daisies started coming together, and because of the process of how it happened, and there was, you know, people coming in and out, including myself. I had prior commitments. Daryl Jones stepped in for me. Man, the calls, the drummers that we know, and the guitar players and the singers, and everybody starts calling because it's a good project, and it's a good vehicle for anybody to be showcased. So, yeah, you get the calls, but I'm glad, and I've said this before, I'm glad that it's us.
Sorry about
This
that.
combination,
A little gassy.
this combination of folks, that we're doing this together because we all know each other, and we have a history. We've kind of learned a lot about each other. The boundaries, where to push, where not to push, and we work together as a team. Me as a bass player, man, I step out of the mix a lot, and I let things together. The guitar player, as a singer, put things together, and then I put my 2 cents in and all that, and it works. It seems to work. It's all good.
You all got families, and you all got your life. You got maybe your solo plans. Is it always a tough decision saying, okay, let's do 3 months Europe or something?
Yeah,
It's hard getting away from home.
that's what we do.
But we've been doing this for how long? A long time. It's become part of, for me personally, my family, my wife, my kids, they still take me to the airport and they pick me up for a reason. When my daughter was born, this is my 3rd marriage. I have adult kids. But when my daughter Faith was born, she used to come to the airport when she was 2 months old in the little car seat. And I'd kiss her and I'd say, Papa's going, but I'll come back. And so that's all she knows. My wife, she knows the business. So, yeah, it's part of the dynamic it kind of works, actually. You kind of get away from me. How can I miss you if you never leave?
Yeah, they kind of like it sometimes, but I got little kids, so it's like when Marco was saying that. Now my daughter thinks I live in the phone. She thinks I'm inside there. But I talk to them twice a day on the camera. I read them bedtime stories, do whatever I can do, and somehow we get through it. But again, like Marco was saying, I'm also on my 3rd marriage, my last marriage, to the German girl, Daniela, who is an amazing mom. But the thing is in the old days, you'd go on tour and you wouldn't be able to communicate. You couldn't see them, you couldn't talk to them, and you just grow apart. So it's a little bit easier now. If you're going to go for 3 months, it's not like you're not going to see them ever for 3 months. So.
We're constantly looking at territories that we would like to hit. Me, personally, I would love to go to Korea, man, right now, and do a show there for both Koreas. Why not? You know what I mean?
We went to Korea.
Yeah, we did. South Korea, yeah.
A couple of years ago, we went and played for the troops there,
Yeah.
and that was
amazing.
That was a really good experience. But there's some places that we haven't got to that we should really try and work some more, which is like in the Baltic states.
Yes.
We are going to Estonia this summer. We're playing a show with Guns N' Roses.
Guns N' Roses, yeah.
But all through Russia and the Ukraine and all that stuff, we should go there, and I think it's important, and we should try and get the rock scene happening down south in Greece and Turkey and these places
Yes.
where it's kind of dried up a little bit. That would be a good thing. And then in Southeast Asia, there's a lot of places that we have fans all over there. I went to China last year. There was a ton of fans in China. We've never been. So there's a lot of places where we still need to go.
Hey, guys, this is Marco from the DAISIES, and
Doug Aldrich from the DAISIES.
you're watching MULATSCHAG TV.
It's the only TV you need.
That's it.
MULATSCHAG!